All right, it's Monday. Welcome back, ladies and gents, collectors of all ages. February 5th, 2024, Monday Market Report. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, as we take a look at some of the biggest modern graded coins that have sold here in the last week. Woo! What can I say? You guys probably jumped on at the right time. This is a huge report. We have 26 coins, and that number could have grown probably double. That's how big the market was on great collections here this week. Such incredible coins. One of the big glaring areas of numismatics. And as you can tell from the thumbnail, what is going on with silver war nickels? Like, since the beginning of the year, they've all been performing just huge, like big time. If you're a top pop grade silver war nickel owner, or maybe a half grade or a grade under that, my goodness, folks, they are exploding. And I'm not saying that it's been living dormant for a while, but it certainly has been living in the shadows of the 43 Steely Lincoln set for quite some time. And I think, I'm not saying now it's getting its due, but yeah, we're seeing more people get into this particular little 5-year segment or series of Jefferson nickels. I mean, Jefferson nickels, out of all things, who would have thought? So yeah, I mean, there was a lot of them that sold here this last week on great collections. We could only afford to cover a few of them just so we could keep the Monday Market Report rather brief. But I'm telling you that this is, and I'm noticing just raw coins as well. Raw silver war nickel BU coins have been performing crazy. $20 to $30 on the minimum on a lot of these coins. If they look pretty good, maybe not necessarily full steps, they have been flying. And I cannot keep them on hand for my own personal inventory to sell on Whatnot or eBay to save my life, because they are getting too expensive. Expensive in a sense that me trying to replenish, it's expensive. Not that I don't want to buy them, because I certainly do. But just, I've noticed kind of like this blanket market awakening of this. So it's going to be interesting. We'll see how it goes from this point forward. So quick little Whatnot calendar of events. We got some blockbusters coming up here, month of February. It's going to be a short month, even though it's a leap year month. 29 days of action-packed activities. We got the early spring coin auction, $1 starts. We're probably going to be looking around 50, 60 lots here on this one, pretty light, because we have the Smoke Show coin and currency sales event coming up this Friday. That plays right into the good old President's Day weekend, which, is going to be another big one with more cherry pickers guides we're going to give away and some other really good books. I spare no expense to provide some top-notch giveaways here, especially during this time of year when education is paramount. If you're trying to get into the hobby, there's no better thing to do right now than to be a numismatist or just a coin collector, for those of you. But yeah, I mean, we have our Tuesday night show tomorrow night. We also have our Friday show this week, and we got 2 more shows next week. We're going to be doubling up throughout the month of February. So exciting. Hope to see you guys there. I got my referral link down below in the description box. I'll probably tag it also in the comment section. If you haven't signed up and you want to partake in some affordable type of coin auctions, then come see me. I'll have what you need. At least I hope. The shows have been banging lately. So, I'm looking forward to our shows this week. All right, well, with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into all of these selections again from greatcollections.com. It's probably one of your top resources for not only buying your next trophy coin for your collection, but also selling or consigning with them if you have some big coins that you want to sell and you're a little gun shy about using some of the other, avenues like eBay. Great collections, has just top of the mark, consignment fees and all that great stuff. So go ahead and check them out. 1995 Lincoln Memorial Set. What do we have here? Well, the big reason why that this coin of this date would even show up in any market report, of course, is for that DDO. Doubled die obverse, also known as the FS 101 in the Cherry Picker's Guide. Yeah, the doubling is top notch. You see it very prominently on the word liberty and on the motto "In God We Trust." Although this particular one is a stunningly high grade. PCGS gave this one a mid-state 69 red. It's just such a tough grade to find, but there are quite a few of them that hit that 67, 68 grade that are out there in the marketplace. If you want to pick one up for around $100 or less, look no further than a great looking 67 or 68, which will be, these are quite common out there in the market today. But, if you're able to grab a hold of something that's 67 or higher, you're in good shape. Now, for the discerning registry set person, this is where this coin comes in, as it's sold for $1,968.75. It is not a cheap coin in 69. The next one that we have here, speaking of not cheap coin, any Philadelphia minted 1950s Lincoln wheat cent is a scarcity. If you're able to hit a 67 on any of these dates during the 50s, especially the early 50s, congratulations. More than likely you're going to get a number of people fighting over your coin, as these are kind of stoppers in the registry set arena. For a lot of collectors, people pay $5,000 to $10,000 really, really handily on some of these, when they could sit back and spend that kind of money on a nice 1909 S VDB or a 1914D. Like this one here, 67 is tops here with this one. $9,506.25 is the kind of money that is best associated with a lot of high-end rarities. This is a high-end rarity here in itself, but when you're kind of like trying to compare apples and oranges here, it's quite stunning. What the trade-off is here. So congrats to the buyer and seller. This is such a huge coin. If you're really big into registry sets, this is a trophy nonetheless. The next one that we have here, of course, the super ultra competing, 1 year shot rarity, 1943D Lincoln Steely. All right, these are zinc coated steel. We all know this. There's really not a whole lot that I can tell you guys about this coin. U.S. Mint needed a ration copper, yada yada, so they had to push in a completely different composition. They only did it for 1 year, which kind of contributed to a whole bunch of weirdness. There were copper 43s that exist. They call those transitional errors. There are steel 44s that exist out there, another transitional error. And not to mention just the few varieties that exist, whether they're double to dies or RPMs, you name it. There's a lot to love with this coin. Now, this one here is a 68 grade. Not the top grade. 68 plus, I believe, is the top grade here for this one. So consider this kind of like that next level, that next tier, the safety net of sorts. CAC also gave its blessing on this one. And how about $2,822.62 for the final hammer price on this one? All right, now speaking of stunners, 1938 Lincoln wheat cent. This is a monstrous coin that you guys didn't know exists. 38p, to a lot of people just seems like a very pedestrian, very commonly minted coin. And it is. However, if you look back and think about how many of these were saved at this kind of like just unreal state of preservation, there's not a whole lot of them. All right, there's been a few BU rolls that have sold in the past, not quite cheap, but if you're able to find one for under $500, that's a hell of a deal. This one right here is, again, another registry set staple, Mid-State 68 red. It's also shown that this one is a coin that was owned by the Gerald L. Martin collection. So that's a provenance that holds some weight there. And high-end Lincoln cents. This one right here, no doubt about it, a top grade. The only thing missing is a CAC sticker. But again, a $10,518.75 sale is quite the price tag on this, and that's exactly what was paid. Here's also a 35 Philly. All right, so the coin is not rotated at all as far as an error is concerned. It's just a little bit rotated in the holder. This one right here is a Mid-State 67 red, CAC certed as well. Again, another registry set. Place marker. This is the top-notch one right here. $2,201.62. Again, I say top-notch in the sense that this is kind of like one of the grades you want for the long-term value. But outside of that, there are other 35Ps that are higher graded. All right, that again eclipses that $10,000 mark pretty easily. And of course, we can't talk tough dates without talking about the 26S. Mired in the middle of the Roaring 20s, we could all say that this particular decade was a crapshoot for quality. Yeah. So for those of you that aren't aware, this decade right here offers a myriad of just amazing toughness and scarcity and all that stuff, especially when you're hitting that kind of like mid-state grade, regardless of color, whether it's a brown, full red, don't even get me started there. But the 26S has always been kind of like in that top 10 wheat cent kind of like rarities for mintage alone. It's like right up there with the 31S. The let's see, 24D is another big one. 26S is kind of like in that arena that if you found like a regular circulated beater, those things are like $5 to $10 still. So that kind of tells you kind of how special this coin is. It is 65 red brown, CAC green stickered as well, and $10,744.88. Can you imagine this thing in a full red? And it's even got a little bit of improper alloy mix wood grain kind of appearance to it, which adds to the eye appeal for such trophies like this. And 1919S, this is just a very, very well struck coin. Not the top grade, but a 65 red is a great consolation prize. If you're able to find one in this state of preservation and it looks good and it's still full red, earning a 65, is not the end of the world. And with that being said, this one ended at $5,512.50. Again, a very nice, marvelous coin that showcases the mint's capability during its time for a very nice strike and great engraving details. Although, things kind of take a turn for the worse after 1919 as we head into the Roaring 20s years. And the final, 1 cent denom, the final Lincoln cent, is not a VDB reverse. This is a 1909S plain. Although it is a pretty nice variety. I've owned a few of these in my life. This one is a S over horizontal S variety. Spectacular coin. This one right here in 67 red is the top grade, I would imagine. There are too many that exist in full red anyways. There's a lot of red browns and a lot of browns in mid-state. And still, those coins are very highly sought after by not only Lincoln cent enthusiasts, but also the variety hunters as well that covet these kind of coins. So this one ended at $22,500. No big surprise here. This is just an insane coin that is going to make its new owner incredibly happy. So now we are on to nickels. If you thought that nickels was going to take any sort of back seat this week, you are sadly mistaken. Just wait till you get to the Silver War nickels in this one. Again, there was probably a good 10 or 12 that I could have put in here, but for brevity, I had to put only a few. But let's start out with a 54 proof. All right, this is a fantastic coin. Incredibly clean. Proof 69 deep cameo. We all know how tough deep cameo or cameo is for any 1950s proof coin. It doesn't matter what it is. I've had the rare luck of sending off a few of my 1950s proof coins and gotten cameo and deep cameo grades back. It's awesome. And this one right here is top of the mark. Obviously, this one ended at $13,500, and you just cannot get any better than that. And one thing I will say, any deep cameo proof of the 50s, these things look almost ghost-like. They are that crazy looking. All right, well, here begins the insane amount of pain that we're going to see tapping into these wallets. But if you need it, you need it. There's just no, there's no consolation whatsoever for that. 45S, the first along the line of a few war nickels this week. These are all generally very well struck. All right, with a little bit of searching, you can find some with 4 or 5 steps pretty easily. And this one here is a 67 plus, designated with full steps. Beautiful coin, shows a lot of die file lines all over the place. Probably had a die clash at one point, and a mint employee had, tried to do their darndest to clean up those dies, but it just shows like this on there. So this one right here, the first one along the line of a few, $4,612.50. Just a tremendous one. We also have a 45D, Denver. Now, this is a monster. 68 plus, full steps, 1.5 grade points away from a perfect 70. And I don't think there's any perfect 70s in war nickels. I think there might be that one kind of like, the 69 full step grade, maybe. I don't know. I haven't personally checked, but 68 plus is up there. So, yeah, again, I wasn't surprised to see this one up here. $11,822.62 is your final tally on this one. So a lot of money was spent for the best quality. And, of course, we got to throw 45p. So we got the trio, the PD and S of 45. And this one here has the toning that just, it's marvelous. It's, in my opinion, inoffensive to a lot of collectors because it's not like wild in your face compared to a Washington quarter I'm going to show you here in a few minutes. This one right here, 67 plus full steps. Again, another big one, $6,806.25. A good amount of premium, I would assume, is attributed to the color on this coin. So there is that. So there's the high-end, really top grade, well-struck coins, and then there are other ones that have eye appeal like this that may not necessarily be the top of the grade. There's a few ways to approach this, ladies and gentlemen. If you are going to get into collecting or grading your own, you got to make sure you're looking out for both. 44S, we got another one right here. Okay, this is another big one in the 68 full stepper. I would say one of the tougher dates, 43S, 44S, a couple of these San Francisco minted coins can be a little suspect, on a grading front. But this one, 68 plus, there's no denying this is a monster. $7,903.12 was your final hammer on this one. And, of course, we had, 5 of them to showcase. Again, I could have showed you guys 12, but we got this one here, a 42p. Okay, they call this the Type 2 because, as you know, in 1942, it's a transition year. They made both full nickel and they also made the Silver War manganese nickel composition. So you had both of them coexisting at the same time, both from the Philadelphia Mint. The only difference is on the nickel composition of this date, they're not going to show an actual mint mark anywhere on the coin. But the silver ones have that large giant Philly mint mark right above the dome in Monticello. So 68 full stepper on this one. Again, it's you love it. It's just quality to the next level. This one right here sold for $10,406.25. That extra emphasis in there is needed to just better highlight the ridiculousness of war nickels. Again, wherever you may be in the United States or abroad, if you come across these at just a ridiculous high mid-state grade raw, spend the $20 to own it, and then you know what to do. All right, because these things are not slowing down due to the World War II impact that it had on the world, and it's parallel with the steel cent. These things are just going to explode, and they're going to continue to do so. Silver is like a beloved composition worldwide. So that's also another thing to play into this as we begin to see these things just really pop. All right, a few more nickels. Believe it or not, we got, this 37. Color Me Common. I mean, you know how many tens of hundreds of millions they made of 1937 Philly Buffalo nickels? Quite a lot. Do you know how many of these you could buy raw and beautiful mint-state grades at a coin shop, coin show, on eBay? Just do a general search. Type in BU 1937 Buffalo nickel on eBay and watch all the results fly. There's going to be a few dozen in there, and you're going to have your pick of the litter, and then check out how much people are selling them for. So that's kind of like where we're at here. This is one of those coins that threads the needle of affordability, but at the same time, if you find the right one that's as well struck and clean as this one, you're going to be living on easy street. Even if you only manage to get a 67 grade, that's still like a $1,200 coin. So in a 68, you can imagine this is a big one, and it is. $6,480, and it's not even the top grade. I believe, 68 plus or 69 is the top grade for a 37. So, yeah, there's a lot of room to grow here. There's a lot of safety net factored into this at various grade levels. This is kind of like a no-brainer coin to possibly dip your toe into if you're looking to try out grading for yourself. It has to be worth it at the end. We also have this one here. Again, not particularly rare. 1913 Type 1 reverse. It features the buffalo on a raised mount. Okay, their OG design before they decided, like, hey, these things were wearing way too quickly. Let's go ahead and change it up so that way the buffalo is on a flat mound with the word 5 cents recessed in there. So another big grade, 68, believe it or not, is a fine market acceptable grade, and one that pops up, more often than you think. $7,031.25 was the final sale on this one here. A few dimes, Mercury's. Mercury's are beloved all throughout, the numismatic world. 1940D. Don't let this one fool you. It's pretty big, 68 full bander. In spite of the fact that a lot of these were very well struck, but finding one that just exudes the confidence of like the most clean coin that you'll ever find can be a little bit challenging. Now this one here, not the top grade, but one of those tier 2 kind of level of grades. $1,069.88 here for this one. And we also have this 35S. I didn't quite know how difficult this one is till I did a little research, and then after I saw the final realized sale from this one, this thing has a lot going for it. Okay, the toning adds everything. It adds everything to this to go along with the full bands. The 68 doesn't really hurt at all. I mean that's the grade that you want to try and pursue. Some would speculate that this is a very tough grade or tough date to obtain in BU, and that's simply not the case. You can find one for around $50 online. Again, do that general search on eBay. 1935S, Mercury Dime, BU, and see how many come up. And you'll be surprised. There's going to be about maybe 10 or 12 of them that pop up, all within this $50 to $100 range. And it's just going to be a matter of, okay, which one do I feel comfortable buying? This one right here, $23,737.50 was the sale price. Again, another monster here this week. Yeah, I mean, just like that, we're in the quarters, but not without some emotional distress over the course of the first 25 minutes with the War Nickels and the Lincoln Cents we covered. I mean, again, it's just a really, really big time Monday market report. So again, 54 proof deep cameos. I mean, the ghostly visage of this one is just stunning. Proof 68 plus, deep cameo, another wildly insane coin. $7,593.75 on this one. And there's your big toner. Again, this one splits a lot of hairs. You either love it or you hate it. Me personally, I adore coins that look like this. God knows where this was at. Maybe in a little envelope with sulfur in it, which a lot of them were back in the day, and it was just socked away in a drawer, for 60 plus years. Mid-State 68. I'm sure some of that has to do with the eye appeal here. And it is the S-Mint, believe it or not, which really doesn't factor too much in the rarity of this one. Sure, they made a little bit less than the Philadelphia, but still a very common date and mint mark to find. $3,487.50 was their sale price on this one. And there's also a variety we don't talk about too much. We're always caught up on the S over D and the D over S over mint marks of 1950. How about the regular RPM S over S, the FS 501? Well, there's a 67 plus here by PCGS. $2,925 was the final tally for this one. Again, a very impressive sale price here. And we also have a 47S, okay, another beauty with the toning that, again, you either love it or hate it, but, it does exude the original quality, that skin that people want to see when they are investing, tons of money on the top pop grade. 68 grade CAC cert as well. $4,731.25. And it is also a San Francisco mint. I wasn't sure if I made that clear, but yeah, quite a beauty. I like this one. All right, and this crusty 41D. Again, most other examples in a 67 or 67 plus, okay, they're just all right coins. They're like, a few $100s all the way up to about $800-900, depending on, of course, eye appeal. Like this one has some old original crusty toning on there. All right, probably from maybe end of roll or something, because the back's kind of like relatively clean on this one. So in this particular case, we got a coin that sold for $5,182.95. And let's see, we also have a beautiful, we got to talk about at least one Standing Liberty quarter, and we got one. 1917 Type 2. All right. Quite tough and full head compared to the Type 1 where, full heads grow on trees. This one right here is, yeah, it's a incredibly difficult coin to find with a full strike. Original green holdered PCGS Mid-State 65 full head, CAC green bean as well. And this one ended at $3,722.62. All right, so one of the coins that just, throws a big question mark into, our Monday market report, a 1972p clad Kennedy half dollar. Like, what gives here? Believe it or not, Kennedy half dollar registry set, participants are a very impassioned group. You've heard me say that before with some of these other series. So this one right here, any clad coin, generally tough for toning. This one has that. And it's a 67 plus. It looks incredibly clean. Like these things, for as big of a coin they are are big bullseyes for contact marks and all sorts of other things. So they are generally not the best looking coins out there to grade. 67 plus is such a huge grade that this one ended up commanding $2,925 in this public sale. So, but this one was nice, but we have to end it off on an absolutely monstrous coin, okay? I went to the deep inner recesses. I don't normally go this deep to Walking Liberty half dollars because that means I've skipped through a whole bunch of incredibly capable Franklin half dollars to get to this one coin. 1919 Philadelphia Walking Liberty half dollar. Mic drop, you know. The only thing that would make this one better is if it had a date of 1921 in this grade. That would be a starstruck kind of thing. But this one has it all. It's got the original darker toned skin to it, which is very nice. It's very pleasing. You know, it's a moss green, you know, with some hints of that russet brown in there. Mid-State 67 on this one. We all know how tough of a coin this is. It's one of the marquee dates of walkers. I've never owned one quite this nice. I've owned a few. I've owned a few 21s and 21Ds and all that stuff. Yeah, I've never owned one in mid-state condition. All right, I've managed to muster an AU here and there, but that's it. That is how popular these coins are. So where does this belong? Everywhere. Collectors' hands, investors' hands, for that portfolio, I suppose. Registry sets, of course. $30,375 was the ultimate price tag on this one. By the time the dust had settled, yeah, there could only be one. And this again, if you have the money and you are into this hobby for more than just a hobby, yeah, this is the one to get here. All right, well, that was one of the longest Monday market reports I've ever done. All right, a very, very stacked, very deep report. You know, it just dawned on me that we are, you know, a week through or pretty close to a week through February. I'm sure there are people getting their tax money back at this point, and that might a little bit contribute to some of the just normally higher than normal realized sales. It could be, but again, you know, anyone who's in the hobby, it's worth the salt, whether it's a dealer or a big time collector. They have money to burn anyways. All right. So yeah. And they're putting it into some of the wisest investments out there, you know? So that's it. That's all I got for you today. Videos for entertainment purposes only, not financial advice. Please do collect and grade responsibly if that's going to be your thing. Of course, you guys enjoy your week. Have a great rest of your Monday. Don't work so hard. I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this video, to the content. If you haven't done so already, your extra support will go a long way to ensuring that I do nice quality videos for forever or longer. Yeah, sounds good, right? Well, take care. Have a great one.